When I moved to Bristol 3 years ago, the prevalence of vehicle living in comparison to other UK cities became obvious, with certain areas of the city attracting large quantities of living vehicles and being home to many who have adopted this unconventional lifestyle. This short documentary will explore the phenomena of vehicle living in Bristol today, deciphering the meaning and significance behind this unconventional way of life. Due to the current political climate being similar to that of the late 70s and early 80s, the era of the New Traveller movement, I'll be drawing upon similarities between both the New Traveller movement and vehicle living in Bristol today. In order to help understand vehicle living, I have conducted 3 interviews with those currently living in vehicles in Bristol and the surrounding area today, which has provided me with valuable real-life and in-depth experiences.
Don't you step inside this bus! Don't you even step inside this bus!
Dorset police block a main road to keep new age travellers out of a seaside resort.
This is my home, and I'm going to protect it! No.
It's just one of hundreds of confrontations that'll take place this summer as a growing band of nomads takes to Britain's roads.
The New Traveller movement emerged in the late 70s and early 80s, coinciding with the major housing crisis in Britain. The New Traveller movement's culture orbited around a jumble of leftist, anarchist, anti-war and environmentalist causes. There is much debate as to whether new travellers chose life on the road or if instead they were forced into vehicle living as a result of economic hardship. When interviewing vehicle dwellers, these were their responses to the question of what is the reason for adopting vehicle living.
Well, it all starts off when I was young. When I left home, I went to the Navy, and that's what the interesting thing. That's the difference between me and because my alternative living came from because when I was 16, I went on a ship for 4 years. Yeah. And then that ship went around the world, right? And then when I come back, I couldn't just go in a. No, when I come out of the Navy, I actually tried to have a normal sort of living. Basically, I was a nurse. I went into nursing, and then I mirrored the jobs because I couldn't kind of see me doing this for 30, 40 years. I just couldn't, so. Yeah. And it's because of the Navy before, because, you know what I mean, you're doing so much, that you're doing that and doing that. So I don't know if that's part of why I sort of took the alternative route, but once I'd taken the alternative route, there was no going back.
I always wanted to. I kind of grew up around boats, like where I'm from, my hometown, there's quite a big boat community there, so my mates lived on them, and it was kind of like always my goal.
It's like a combination of lots of different reasons.
Yeah.
That like just on balance tip the scales towards living in a van.
Yeah.
The main one I think is probably economic.
Yeah.
So I was working full time doing like support work in a school.
Yeah.
But I'm trained as a dancer and wanted to be a dancer basically.
Yeah. So
I wanted to quit my job in the school and work as a dancer, but in order to do that I had to have some time to do the dance thing.
Yeah.
Before getting money from it because that's kind of how it works. It's like networking and then.
This is an example of a vehicle which has been made into a home. Unfortunately, the resident was unable to be interviewed. Despite none of the participants claiming to have adopted vehicle living out of absolute necessity, with one doing so as a means of being able to choose employment and the other 2 doing so as a lifestyle choice. Regardless of the motivations behind vehicle living, all of the participants discussed ways in which vehicle living has provided them with some kind of empowerment.
I like being powerful. I'm powerful now.
Yeah.
I'm cold, I can light my fire.
Yeah.
I need electricity. If you're not giving me any, I can make my own.
Yeah.
I've got solar panels.
Yeah.
I've got batteries. I am absolutely independent like that, apart from my food.
Yeah.
As well, because to live and pay that much, like housing costs or like living costs, you need to be working basically the whole time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like me have ended up working like full time and not having any time to do anything, and then that just goes straight back into your living costs.
Yeah, and you're not even really in the house because you're just working all the time anyway.
Exactly, and you're just stuck in this cycle.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think a lot of people who choose a lifestyle like boats or vans, that's a big thing they disagree with.
Yeah.
It's that whole sort of like caught in the rat race, like you only function as a citizen is to work, like feed into the economy, and that's it. Like, yeah, it's a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
And there's some really nice like nature and stuff, really nice areas that you just wouldn't really see otherwise.
Yeah.
And like I could take my boat to London or Manchester or something like that. I'm planning on taking it to London next year.
Despite vehicle living providing the participants with a sense of empowerment, it is important to acknowledge the difficulties also associated with the lifestyle, as to avoid romanticising vehicle living, as was often done with the new travel movement.
Yeah, it's really dark, really cold. There's a lot more things that can go wrong. It's really damp, like all my clothes have gone mouldy.
Yeah.
Like everything has gone mouldy. I've got like a tiny solar panel, which is fine, like it's enough to charge my phone.
Yeah.
In the summer it's absolutely fine. In the winter, like I think in December it got really hard, but there's like maybe 3 hours of proper daylight a day. So then it wouldn't be enough to even like turn on the lights inside the boat, so it's just like pitch black, nothing. So.
At the end of the day, we used to have a story, didn't we, of the 3 little pigs. And the one that built the brick house was fine, wasn't it?
Yeah. Got that story,
and there is that, you know, because, and I still now, I'm 60 and I think, oh, well maybe if I lived in a house it'd be, you know, I think a house is better, but I've missed the plot. You've got to go from school and you've got to get a mortgage and you've got to do to the 40, and I've missed that. So, and I feel like people who have done that, they're a lot more settled and, you know, there's a kind of comfortable and secureness about it.
Interestingly, the participants found that the public have generally been tolerant towards their unconventional lifestyles. You don't feel like
people have been on the whole quite positive.
Yeah.
Because a boat is accepted as an alternative. It's on the TV, you can watch TV programmes of stars on boats. You know, it's an accepted alternative.
After conducting these interviews, it has become apparent that there are a multitude of different reasons for adopting vehicle dwelling. Drawing upon the new traveller movement has been somewhat insightful, with some similarities emerging between vehicle living today and vehicle living in the new traveller movement. One example of this is 2 of the interviewees choosing to travel seasonally, as new travellers once did, often travelling a circuit of free festivals in the summer and parking up during the winter. As well as this, vehicle living has provided the interviewees with a similar sense of empowerment as those in the new traveller movement, with both groups experiencing a sense of freedom, whether this be freedom to travel or freedom to pick and choose employment. Despite these similarities, the interviews revealed that the participants face little stigmatisation as a result of vehicle living. This highlights a striking difference between vehicle living today and vehicle living in the new traveller movement, where it appears that vehicle living today is much more tolerated than those in the new traveller movement, in which the popular rhetoric amongst politicians and the press through the 80s and 90s argue that new travellers were unwilling to fully participate in society. This stigmatisation can be exemplified by Margaret Thatcher saying that new travellers accept all of the advantages of a free society but refuse to rise to any of its responsibilities, as well as brutal events such as the Battle of the Beanfield exemplifying the institutionalised oppression travellers faced. Ultimately, these interviews have provided an insight into vehicle living in Bristol today, drawing upon similarities and differences between the new traveller movement and exploring the notions of choice and empowerment.